better nature or some kind of like utilitarian concern from these people when they don't have it. Like, you understand that for a lot of these people, and especially for someone like Hassan, like he's wearing a fucking keffiyeh when he, as he says this as well, right? Like what their goal is not to minimize harm. It's not, they don't give a fuck about that. Their thing is that it's always about defining yourself in office. I'm in charge of me and Dan and our operations, and we can talk about we can do the content meeting on stream where he's like, okay, here's what I want you to do day one. I think that would be great. That would be a good meme. Well, we'll see.
I thought maybe you were trolling him. Yeah, you troll a lot of people. Anyway, I'll leave now. I don't want to, step on your toes. Hey, Loner.
Hi.
Apparently, I'm a DNC Thiel op or Peter Thiel op or some shit. That's yeah. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Big LB, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I had so I was going through Hassan clips, as I do, because that's all that's what you do, right? But something occurred to me, and I want to get your thought on it. So you know how Hassan is very not big on what you would call lesser evil voting, we would say, right? He doesn't like that, yeah?
I mean, he'll occasionally say it's worth doing, but like very tentatively and very mixed messagey. Yeah, sure.
Like 95% of the time, not good.
Yeah, like
right?
if you want people to vote, you can't just say, yeah, it's bad, but also, you should probably vote because you can't do that. You have to inspire people to vote because voting's a pain in the ass for most people. Like, even people who care, I know people who watch politics like all day, and on election day, you have to fucking kick them up the ass to get them out to vote. Yeah, it's like you need to be inspired to it. You can't just be like, yeah, I guess, so, 99% Hitler. Yeah, I know.
So I have, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Like a hypothetical, I guess. Let's say that like Bernie Sanders was running, right? And first off, I would say that most candidates, you don't agree ever with 100% of their policies. There's always going to be something that they have that you're not 100% on board with. It could be a million different things, but you're never going to be 100% on board with someone. Maybe they're pro-choice and you're pro-life, or maybe they're I don't know, for more government spending in this thing and you're not. Like, it's never going to be 100% aligned. It's just not possible, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is where you would respond and say, yeah.
I said yes. Sorry, my fucking doorbell's just gone off. Hang on 1 minute. Be right back. Entertain the community, please.
What? No, listen, I don't have anything to really entertain with right here. I don't know if you could find anyone to be 100% aligned with, even yourself, because like I disagree with myself sometimes after a while. Not right away, of course. You can never disagree with yourself immediately, but later on you're like, what was I thinking? See, and then you're fucked. Then you trusted yourself, and that was a mistake to do that.
Yeah.
Hi. All right. So the hypothetical is this: is that I think the way to get extremists to agree that they have to do lesser evil voting is to say, what would you do? So who's your perfect candidate? And they're going to say something crazy. It's not Bernie Sanders anymore. I don't know who it is. Who do they love now? Not even AOC.
They're kind of probably hinging a lot on Mamdani right now for the time being.
Okay. So what happens if you get Mamdani plus every Palestinian gets $100 as well? Or Mamdani that says they love cats, but Mamdani loves dogs, right? Like the whole point here is that you eventually have to choose the lesser evil or the greater good for you, right? You can't, like, if two candidates are very, very similar, which they claim, remember, the communists claim Republicans and Democrats are like the same. So what would you do in that circumstance where it's like, okay, I really love Mamdani, and another candidate is running that's pretty much identical to Mamdani, yeah, but had another policy that you also agreed with more? right? And I gave kind of a shitty example of like, let's say Mamdani really loves cats, and your candidate that's identical, Mamdani loves dogs, and you're a dog lover. Okay. Are you going to be pragmatic and be like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm still voting for Mamdani because he has a better chance of winning? Or are you going to do the lesser evil voting and say, I'm voting for this guy because I'm more aligned with him and he's the better choice?
Are you trying to workshop like rhetorical devices to get people to vote?
Well, no. Listen, I'm retarded. Okay, you have to help me here. Okay, the idea is that so many extremists refuse to vote for a Republican or for a Democrat because they say that they're the same. Mostly leftists do that, right? So my question is that with someone they would vote for right now, I don't know who that would be. Okay, you're saying a Mamdani if they were running for president or something along those lines. Okay, what I'm saying is, what about if out of left field a new candidate arose from the ashes, a dark knight, a Lonerbox, if you will, an identical copy of Mamdani in every way, except that he hates pit bulls.
Okay.
And Mamdani loves pit bulls. Now the question is, do these people all of a sudden become pragmatic with their own views, or do they say, well, I don't care. Lonerbox has no chance of fucking winning the election. Zero chance whatsoever. It's never going to happen. Okay? So I'm not gonna vote for Lonerbox. It's like, are they pragmatic in this point right now? Or are they going to continue to vote for Mamdani being like, well, this guy doesn't have a chance. Even though I'm more aligned with Lonerbox, he doesn't have a chance. Even though Mamdani doesn't have a chance. Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I don't know if you're saying that you should use this as like a rhetorical device for them, or if you're suggesting that this is what candidates should do. Like,
no, it's a rhetorical device.
Okay, but broadly, okay, well, no, because you're asking people to be, you're acting as if bringing these people concessions will get them to change. That's not what happens though, because any concession that they get, it's not going to be good enough. Like because these people are very like absolutist. That's why I think
no. I'm not talking about getting them to vote. I'm talking about showing the absurdity, like in a debate, of how bad they are. I understand
because
that.
they think the absurdity isn't about liking dogs or cats. It's about genocide versus no genocide, or brutal capitalism versus
So we know the policies of Mamdani, right? And then they like him, for instance. So what about if you say that you're running and you're registered now, and you're going to run and do everything Mamdani is going to do, plus give every Gazan $1,000? Is it better for them to vote for you?
Well, they've already made that decision because Democrats wouldn't have turned off USAID. They wouldn't have.
You're not running as a Democrat. You're running as a ultra. Fucking
no, but what you're saying is this $1,000 thing or whatever, like that's already in practice happened. Trump 1 canceled UNRWA funding, and Biden had to bring it back when he came in 2020. When Trump came in for Trump 2, he canceled USAID, which also contributes to Palestinians. So they've already done that. They've already had like a choice where one party was going to keep on giving aid to Palestinians and money to them, and now this new one is taking it away.
Yeah, but I understand. Okay, but there was obviously differences there. I'm trying to come up with, if you're debating one of these people, okay, in the future, a way that you can ask what they would do in that circumstance. Okay, so let's just say we're talking about running for the mayor of New York, since it's simpler. Okay, so the idea is, if you had one of these people that was super on the Mamdani train and everything else like that, how would they react if tomorrow a new candidate was registered and certified and everything and had identical policies to Mamdani? There was no doubt they were going to follow through with it, but they were 5% better on an issue that the person cared about. So Mamdani has backtracked and said, he backtracked on something that made people upset. What was it? Something with October 7th or something. The whole idea is, what happens if you introduce a second candidate who's...
It was backtrack on the Intifada shit.
Yeah. So what happens if you bring in a second candidate? And for the sake of argument, let's say that it's not... I don't hate Mamdani. Mamdani is preferable to Cuomo, just to be clear. So the thing is, what happens if you bring in a candidate that you know it's not some shill, it's not fucking Lonerbox, because obviously people are gonna be like, Lonerbox full of shit, he's not gonna follow through. What about if it is someone that you know, like, holy shit, that person is a for real Palestinian activist? I have no doubt they're gonna do it. What about Hassan fucking Piker, like is registering to run and gets the votes in New York? As a voter, what do you do in that case? Because then you would be splitting the vote of Mamdani under that case, right?
Okay,
So
yeah. So your question would be, you would ask them, let's say Hassan decides to run against Mamdani, but Hassan's definitely not going to win, but he will get enough votes to split the vote. Yeah, he might get enough votes to split the vote. Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, but this is my fault, not your fault.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Actually, it's not my fault. I was being nice to you. Okay, you should have got it right away, but your brain's not big enough and fast enough to pick up what I'm throwing down. That said, yeah. So how would these people react, since they're so against lesser evil voting or being pragmatic in something? How do you react if tomorrow, hypothetically, Hassan did register to run as mayor in New York City? Right? Would they start advocating for people? Listen, guys, we love Hassan, but don't vote for him. He has no chance of winning. Or are they going to go out there and start campaigning for him, splitting the vote in half for Mamdani? You know, probably not in half, but you know what I'm saying. Potentially causing him to lose and have Cuomo or Adams or whoever coming in there. How do they square that circle, I guess? And how do you be like, so you're okay doing lesser evil voting here?
I mean, it's hard for them because Mamdani probably already passes the test for most of them. But that's probably just like a hard example, because again, the problem is you don't need to illustrate the lesser evil thing because it already exists, right? Like Democrats winning would have meant people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and people they do like.
Democrats are just genocide, less homophobic genocide. Like we can't do this thing because for them it doesn't matter, right? Like if you even have like that thing, they just say you're just a less homophobic genocide. We have the clips from Hassan saying it. So I'm trying to really make it as clear as possible. What are these in these circumstances? Do they agree that lesser evil voting is good, or do they still stick by their guns and cause their candidate to lose as a result of not being the ultimate of ultimate?
I think the difference is that with Mamdani, they would say that it's worth getting rid of like a more extreme person or like a slightly more extreme person just because they think Mamdani is good enough, because Mamdani rhetorically crosses their line. That's probably what they would say.
Yeah, but Hassan would be better, right?
Well, they might think that, yeah.
So if Hassan's better, wouldn't you vote for the better candidate?
I mean, for them, they'd probably say that because I don't think they discount pragmatism completely. They would probably just say, yeah, this is fine. It's fine to be pragmatic here because Mamdani crosses our line. Like we do see him significantly different from the Republicans, enough so that we would vote for him and try to be pragmatic about it as well, even if it's to sacrifice perfection. Whereas they won't sacrifice perfection for someone like Harris or Biden.
So then becomes the question of, so is it their own values that they're willing to sacrifice? Because I've been thinking about this a lot. I feel like Hassan, in his just never-ending indifference to lesser evil voting, has completely fucked over LGBT people across the board. He didn't give a fuck. The genocide was everything for him, and as a result of that, even though Kamala would have been 1,000% better, like this idea that it was 100% Hitler versus 101% Hitler is bullshit. It's just not true. It's not true. And because of the way that Hassan did not push for quote unquote lesser evil voting, we now have immigrants being shipped out of the country in meme videos, and we have trans people about to be classified as terrorists, right? So the question is, how do you get these people, when you talk to them, which I'm assuming that you will in the future, how do you get them to be like, so it's only your values that matter. You don't actually care about gay people.
Depending on wherever the debate's going, like that might be a thing. Yeah. But I think what you'll usually find is that they would just say that, like, even if we were willing to be like more adamant about supporting Democrats or whatever, they would probably say something like, well, what can we do about like we can't really hold back the tide of voters being disappointed with the like Holocaust Harris shit, right? They can't really control all that. They can't really get enthusiastic about someone that like doesn't deserve it, you know, like or like it's like they would call it like polishing a piece of shit, you know, putting perfume on a pig.
Yeah, but it's just not true, though, right?
No, I know it's not true, but it's not true with the facts we have right now. Yeah, with the facts we have about the Democrats right now and about even about the Democrats in relation to Palestinians. Because I think what happens when you post that clip of Hassan saying there's no difference 1-to-1, whatever, they'll say, actually, he's talking about Iran or Gaza. But even for that, it's not true.
Did you see the worst one? Someone sent it to me. I saw it. If you go to my Twitter, I think it should be the most recent tweet from yesterday. But this is like kind of a crazy. I haven't seen this one before, so this is gonna be new for you, unless you've clicked my Twitter recently.
No, I haven't. Where is it? The pinned one or the?
Yeah, the pinned one. Yeah,
okay.
Watch that one.
I don't think I've seen this. Oh, he's wearing.
Yeah, I haven't either. This is it's crazy. Pull that one up.
Okay, let me share it with you.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
So far, the man is not even in office yet, and he's having a banner year. Okay, why are we giving Trump credit for this deal? Who do you think facilitated the deal? You think it was Biden? I can't believe we already have liberals in the chat running defense for Joseph Robinette Brandon here. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to all of it. But I'm seeing that a lot of people are. Basically choosing to give credit to the Biden admin here, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Oh, they're talking about the deal that Biden was pushing for months and that actually got implemented before Trump even took office, but after he won the election. Is that it?
Yeah, at the start, I put in a thing there. Like it would be illegal even, not that it matters, but it would have been illegal for Trump to even try and do that. Nor would he have any authority to do it. So,
yeah. Yeah, I got that. Okay.
This is from January 15th. If it's at the start of the clip, January 15th is when this stream from Hassan was of this year.
Our life. But it's great. I'm glad that we have insanity that is alive and well. Okay. I'm glad that insanity is alive and well in this community. Like that's crazy. That's insane. That's more insane than I thought this community would ever get. I'm not gonna lie, but it's cool. Fuck it, we ball. Okay. So far,
okay.
So you see this like first. This is like some of it's cut off, but it says Hassan stream VOD January 15, 2025. Joe Biden is still the president. Trump has no ability to do any negotiations or deals and is technically and legally barred from doing so under terms of the Logan Act. So like. This is a crazier example than normal because I have a million clips of Hassan just saying that Democrats and Republicans are the same. This is a clip of Hassan saying, hey, listen, look, Trump is actually making shit happen that's good for Palestinians that Biden wouldn't do. And it's just a lie. It's just like...
Yeah, but I think you're... and I said this before with Newsom and the Republicans, the problem that you're running into is that you are kind of assuming that you can appeal to some kind of like better nature or some kind of like utilitarian concern from these people when they don't have it. Like you understand that for a lot of these people, and especially for someone like Hassan, like he's wearing a fucking keffiyeh as he says this as well, right? Like what their goal is not to minimize harm. It's not, they don't give a fuck about that. Their thing is that it's always about defining yourself in opposition to whatever the pro-capitalist, like liberal democracy, center-left people are doing. And it's a very consistent thing. So no matter how much is conceded or moved, yeah, even if it means by handing it to Trump, or I don't know if that's exactly what he's implying
handing
there,
it
but
to Trump.
It does sound like he's implying it, yeah.
There's no way he is not, like, there's no more context to give here, by the way, because after this, he's like, all right, let's blast off. Let's get into the
Or I don't
news.
even know if it's like, it's not even like necessarily, I think to them, it's not even about giving it to Trump. It's just about taking it away from Biden. Like that's that's like the priority, you know, like that's like the conscious choice. But yeah, that's never changing. This is
giving it to Trump though. Like I disagree with you on that. There's only like, who else are you giving it to here?
Yeah, I know by implication you're giving it to Trump. Yeah, I know. But the way they see it is they have to take it away from Biden. Like they're taking it away from the people that they basically
they're literally they've become the ContraPoints meme, and it's kind of sad. and disappointing. And it's fucking annoying as well because despite people thinking that I don't know why I keep getting called an ultra Zionist, by the way, when I'm the one who wants the Jews to go and take half of Germany. But that's fine. But that said, when I'm like the ultra Zionist Nazi, like I know a lot of trans people, I know a lot of gay people, and like it's really quite fucking annoying that Hassan didn't give a shit to think about like how will it affect these people's lives or immigrants, right? Like I know, well, not a lot, and it's not like I can claim that I know a lot, but I know some immigrants, and I know of people who have been deported, and it's. I mean, tangentially, I know of them being deported. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? Like I've seen these people before. Now they're not here anymore. I just think that not giving a fuck at all about these people over one issue. The thing that's the most annoying is I could see something if it actually was like Hitler versus Mengele, right? I'd be like, okay, you know what? It really doesn't fucking matter. Mm-hmm. Let's just try to get Bernie in here. But it wasn't that, was it? No. It wasn't Bernie. It wasn't Hitler versus who's the other one that's really bad? I feel like I'm pronouncing the other dude, the mad scientist names wrong.
Mengele, yeah.
Himmler. Yeah. It wasn't Hitler versus Himmler. Okay, it was like it was like so far away from that.
Yeah, it was Hitler versus the Social Democrats. That's what it was. Hitler versus the SPD.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they tried to make it Hitler versus Himmler.
Yeah, but you're assuming that had this single issue not existed, they wouldn't have found another one. They were always like this. They were like this when it came to Bernie, Biden. They've always been like this. Because again, like their whole thing is to oppose capitalism, liberal democracy, and all that, right? So it serves their interest to take otherwise. It serves their interest to take otherwise center left leaning people and to convince them that the mainstream center and center left is actually not all that different from the right, who are fascists. So basically, yeah, that's always again. It's like 100 years of them doing that shit. Yeah.
Can I ask you? Do you know fashion in music and the way that people's minds work and the way that we choose cars? This is like a long video I've been working on for a while, but a lot of people will choose stuff because it's not popular. And like, do you know how sometimes like there's music that you listen to that's kind of niche, and when someone else tells you that they like that band as well, a part of you is like a little bit fucking annoyed because that like not a lot of people knew about that, and that's like that was your thing that you knew about that band, right? And I wonder if like in a hypothetical reality where everyone that they wanted to became and took office. So let's say Mamdani is president and whoever else they wanted to be was vice president and everything. And the whole system was people that they wanted to. Do you think that they would immediately be like, these people are not going far enough. We need to be supporting this candidate now, who's like a fringe, even more people to the left candidate at that point? Like essentially do you subscribe to they're just against capitalism, or do you subscribe to the idea that it's more like ContraPoints, it's just they want to endlessly ridicule and be niche, and that we should go with this candidate because he doesn't have the baggage, this guy is beholden to the establishment still, that type of thing?
I think if someone speaks enough to them and has that like label or identity, then they will do, like they did with Corbyn, right? The far left people, they were very much behind Corbyn, even the American ones, like unconditionally almost, yeah. Even though he wasn't like a revolutionary or anything, he was like a Demsoc.
Can I want to react to one of your audience members real quick. I don't work with Tectone or Nextaku. I had a talk with them, okay? Unless you want to say that Hassan works with Bad Empanada, then we're on the same page then. I guess that would be fair. Yeah, proof. Put more proof there, because Hassan has retweeted those guys more than I have. He's worked with him more than I have, and there's even more unhinged people there. I mean, maybe you'll say, yeah, that he. Well,
I would argue Hassan kind of has worked with Bad Empanada. He like promoted him.
Or yeah,
he used his content to radicalize his audience further. Yeah. Yeah,
right. Like I've done this one talk, but people are just uncharitable, and it's fine. I don't mind. Like I refuse. I haven't gone and grifted to the right or grifted to the left, and it costs me. I would say it costs me not money, because I don't care about money, but it certainly costs me eyeballs. Like if I was to say something like, all Republicans are literally Hitler right now, I would lose a lot of viewership of stuff. So I have no issues saying what my views are. Yesterday, I made a post saying that the draw for influencers right now to be far right or far left is like so insane, and the rewards are so big that I don't know how you combat it. Basically, it's fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts.
I mean, well, but it sounds like you used a bad example there with someone who actually most people would say has worked with Hassan to talk about Tectone and Nux. But what's the difference between? What would you say the difference is between what you do with those two versus what Hassan did with Bad and Banada?
I don't know. What do I do with those two? I had a conversation with them.
I don't know about this conversation. What happened? What were the contents of
A
the
few months ago? Went on stream and I was talking about Twitch and how Twitch is bad. And also, I would say this is probably when Tectone, and truth be told, I didn't know too much about Nux, and but then again, I wasn't endorsing any views, and I think I did a good job of showcasing better views for them to have as well. So,
would you go on to Fox and have a chat with Trump about how Twitch is fucked?
No, because I'm not a politics bro, and I'll just leave it for Destiny to get fucking murdered over that stuff. That ain't gonna be me.
Well, why? Just because you're not a politics bro, but I mean, I guess you were talking about something political adjacent with Nux and Tectone.
Sure, I think there's a big difference between that and talking with Trump, though.
So because he's a politician, right? Because he's president. Is that why?
No, because if you talk with Trump, then it's like, you're having everyone in the world that is a Trump sycophant all of a sudden on your shit type of stuff, and that's a level of you have to be like really truly in podcast political shit to
well, I don't know about that, because Fox was glazing fucking Fetterman for talking about how the left, we need to tone down all the violence in their extreme left side. Like, because he was doing that.
I'm confused. You're asking me pragmatically if I would talk with Trump
over Twitch, or even some MAGA influencer, same with like Tucker or Matt Walsh or fucking Charlie Kirk.
So I was answering that question on a different level. I was answering no, because I don't think I would want to talk with Trump about anything ever. Not because of he's too far right or anything as politics, just because I think I'm not prepared to be the type of guy who's had a conversation with Trump ever, because that's too much optics and impact and everything. Like, there's too many eyeballs on that, and not the implication, but the fallout from even having that conversation is something I'm not prepared to, like conspiracy theorists and all this type of stuff. I wouldn't do that. But like, if you were to say, would you have a talk with Trump that no one would ever know about, happened afterwards, magical conversation, then absolutely, I would, for sure.
So you'd have a behind closed doors discussion with Trump about Twitch and how they're needing to get fixed.
You're really trying to make this a clippable moment for yourself. I'm
not trying to make a clippable moment, bro. It's like, I just want to see where you fucking stand.
In a magical Dogwarts portal world where I can go through the portal and there's an alternate reality Trump where I can tell him what I think the issues are with various tech companies, I would absolutely do that, for sure.
I think that's bad. I would say
you
that's
would
quite
not?
bad. Yeah, what the fuck? Because like I think people expect, or I think it sounds like you're expecting Republicans to, I think it sounds like what you want is Twitch to be fair, to enforce their TOS properly, and to have management that is probably not Dan Clancy with all the favoritism and all that shit. But you're expecting to get that from Republicans. Like, they're not going to do that, though. Look what they've already done with Kimmel.
So that's the whole thing, is I think you have to like give them examples of something that they get behind, and ideally that they would then start pushing something that is better for the world. Because there's like three options when it comes to running a social media platform. So option one is you have like a hug box, okay? And a hug box is like, you can't call someone fat or you get a 2-week ban, okay? That's option one. Option two is you have the complete unregulated, basically except for the laws, platform. That's kind of like a Twitter right now. And then option three is kind of like what was Twitter before Elon took it over. And that's like everyone's kind of, for the most part, treated equally. There's some fuck ups along the line there, but they'll have Destiny on there. They'll have they'll have some far right people on there, but they won't have Nazis on there. But they also won't have like far left Nazis on there either, right? So those are kind of the three things you can do. I think it's dangerous when you create a hug box for half your audience, and then for the other half, not the hug box. So as we talked about a lot, how Hassan is called, Jewish people inbred, like compilations and things like that, but you can still get that 2-week ban. I think that's dangerous because it's like, the reason it's dangerous to me is that people view Twitch as a result of that 2-week ban for calling someone fat. They view it as like PBS, like, oh, this is a safe website. Like, you can't call someone fat on here. You'll get a 2-week ban. So in their mind, everyone's like, that's a safe space. You can't even say the R word on there, all this type of stuff. But then you can go and have someone like Hassan who goes on there and says unhinged stuff about Jews nonstop, and that is allowed, and that permeates into younger people's minds that, oh, this site is really, really tame. You can't even call someone fat, but it's cool to call people Jews. To call Jews like inbred. There's no issue, obviously. Like, it's the equivalent again as if you're watching PBS, which you expect to be safe programming, and they don't do anything, there's no nudity, there's no swearing, but then they have specials every night that's like how the Jews run the world. So that's my objection, and why I think that it's more particularly dangerous than people give it credit for. People always want to say like, oh, Twitter is the most dangerous site when it comes to doing things on anti-Semitism or causing issues with Democrats and things like that. And I don't agree with that, because I think that I don't know how much radicalization is happening on a platform where everyone comes into this being like, listen, this place is like fucking chat roulette. It is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on to your fucking chair when you go into this website. So that's why I think that Twitch is uniquely evil, and why it does need to have a change there. And I think that you can point to examples of how Twitch has exclusively taken harsh stances on things that Republicans would care about. I mean, fuck, Twitch banned Trump. Like, that's enough. Like, you just knew there. So you banned this guy permanently, but you haven't banned this guy. And then they have to explain that. And I think that's a problem that they're going to have to answer. So when you talk with Republicans about this, when you talk with Trump about it, you need to be like, this is the solution that we want. We don't want them to censor everyone. We want them to either choose, be a safe space for everyone, or be a free-for-all. That's it. And I think that's the way that you have to treat the situation.
So what I just heard there is you sound like you're giving a fairly like nuanced critique of the German Communist Party, but it's like 1933 and the brown shirts are already getting ready to fucking round them up and black bag them. Like, you're saying what you want for them at a time when what you want for them is probably not going to happen, right? Like, if you were doing this with like Richie Torres or some Democrat or whatever, or even like a bipartisan committee, like that might make sense. But in this current climate, in this specific arena of targeting,
a bipartisan committee, right?
But in this specific climate, when it comes in this arena and this level of targeting coming from the Republicans in particular, it's just opening like an entire can of fucking worms. There's a reason they didn't put Twitter on this list, right? There's a reason they went for Twitch, Reddit, Discord. There's a reason they completely ignored Twitter on this.
Well, to be clear, I think the entire reasoning for this list is not. I think you're giving a lot of credit to something that probably doesn't deserve the credit right now. The reason Twitter's not on the list, or other sites that Republicans love, I don't think it's because they love it. I think it's just they're so stupid that they just looked at everything that was in the news about the shooter that happened on Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. And there was only 4 things that were really like on the news. It was Reddit, it was Discord, it was Steam, which makes no fucking sense, gaming, and it was Twitch. Yeah, that was it. It was all gaming stuff. It's true. That's what was in the fucking news. So nobody was really talking about the other stuff. Like, that is why those things are there. I don't like, because there's other social networks that Republicans have an issue with, I think, that are not on the list as well. Like, why is Blue Sky not there? Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. Now we don't know the answer to this whole thing about why it's there. So like, don't give me this bullshit. You guys don't have an answer to that question of why Blue Sky's not there now.
Does that not make it worse? The fact that even though it's bipartisan, it's clearly motivated specifically by the Charlie Kirk attack, even though obviously right-wing violence, according to every person who's looked into this, every organization, including the DHS, has shown that right-wing violence is worse. And they've just completely steered past the biggest hub for right-wing radicalization, the fucking Fourth Reich of Twitter. My problem is it's very unlikely. So you said that when we spoke about this, I think I wrote this down. Your desired outcomes from something like a committee would be executive turnover for Twitch and for them to have a trust and safety team that actually enforces TOS fairly, and also some meme clips of streamers.
Well, you can't. There's no clips that happens in these meetings. They might be able to
they'll quote people.
They can
like
quote
clippable
people.
Moments.
They can print things out, but there's no they're not bringing out the VCR like they're in high school type of thing.
And I think we said that the potentially bad outcomes of this would be, say, Hassan just gets banned as a kind of way for Twitch to save face, or Twitch gets shut down, or there's criminal charges getting recommended to creators. Like that's the right?
I hate to say this because for the most part, I like to say that I stick with my word when I remember to. If all that came from this is Hassan getting banned, I would protest that Hassan be unbanned and that Dan Clancy be fired. I would. Now, he probably doesn't think so, but Hassan is just a convenient lightning rod to get to Twitch. And, I can say that fairly confidently that I don't think Hassan is the issue. I think Hassan is just the normal result of when you don't enforce the rules. People become more and more extreme because there's more and more money in it. Like Alex Jones made fucking hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe $1 billion, I think someone said, as a result of hawking supplements because he went more and more and more extreme, and Twitch allowed him to go all the way. And I think that is the normal result of what happened, and it will just happen again. Even if they banned Hassan, someone else would just step into that shoes and start going that direction moving forward. So no, I don't think Hassan should be banned. I don't think you should even be banned for stuff that happened in the past. I don't know why they would even go that route. The way to go on this route is you have to systematically be like, why is it that we've done the things we've done in the past? And it's because we have a compromised executive team that is trying to inflict their own political beliefs into the public. And I think that's dangerous, especially if you're Jewish, if you want to be frank about it. So, there's a big part of this, I think, that I care about when it comes to just a democracy sense. But there's also a big part about this that I care about just as a Jew, in that I don't think that when we have Clancy on record saying he wants 8-year-olds on the platform, I don't think I like the idea that you can't call someone fat, but you can call Jews inbred all day, every day. I don't think you could call an Arabic person inbred without getting banned, to be clear.
Yeah, well, if someone like Tectone was looking at a Hamas rally and he called them a bunch of inbreds, that would probably be bannable, right? Is that what you're saying?
I would think so, yeah.
That's all, again, but that's all fine. That's all fair. But I just think what we're going to witness, it's up to fucking predictions. But I think what we're going to witness is not what you're looking for.
So yeah, then again, I did not put this motion on the floor.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So I didn't make this happen. This was never happening. This whole thing. Until the Kirk shooting, and then they're like, we got to hold these companies that let the Kirk shooting happen. And now there's two options. Either you can try to be like, well, that sucks, this shouldn't happen, but it's happening. Are we going to be a lesser evil voter here, or are we going to be head in the sand of what's going to go on? So this meeting is going to happen. Are you going to sit back and be like, well, that sucks, nothing should happen, or are you going to try and make sure that something positive happens as a result of this?
I would like something good to come out of it, but it's
okay.
But it's like I'm sitting and watching. I'm watching Hitler in the fucking Reichstag after the fire, passing the name. I'm like, well, I hope something good comes from this.
Okay, so what do you
watching
the
the Nuremberg laws
instead?
get passed? I'm like, I hope something good comes from it.
You know it's happening. What would you like to have happen? Because it is going to happen.
Best case scenario is it prompts discussion about other platforms that are doing this as well, because again, there's no just world where Twitch gets fucked and Twitter doesn't. There's no just world where that happens. I would rather they both were shit, actually, because otherwise it's
I wish that Twitter should go back to how it was under, before Elon bought it. I think that was a really good at that point, it was a really good platform. I think there was a fair balance of them allowing everyone on, unless you were insane. Basically, that was like the best case of where it should be.
Yeah, but again, that's the problem. Is I really don't like, even almost, let's say, even if the committee did everything right by your terms, just for Twitch, there's still something just very unsettling to me about the Republicans, the Republican-led House being able to set everyone straight on one side whilst their own side just runs rampant. That's very unsettling to me.
You're being very not lesser evil voting right now when you say that. Yeah, there's bad things that
it's
are
not even
out there in
lesser.
the world that should be changed, but you don't have the motion to change those things right now, do you?
Yeah, but I don't want Republicans to be able to have any influence on these platforms. I don't, in terms of regulating them, because even if they know what they can do with Twitch, to me that's just me seeing them as knowing that they can take more, like they can do more to other platforms. And yeah, I don't
To
like
be clear,
that. It's not nice.
this whole hearing is like, I don't even think they're subpoenaed to show up. They can just not show up. In fact, I would put the odds of Clancy showing up at like 20%.
Yeah. Well, what does he lose if he doesn't show up? Does anything bad happen, or?
I think what happens is that they just do speaking time, and then they shout at the wall without Clancy there. Which I don't know if that's worse or they're bad. Like, I guess, do they just read out clips of things that have happened on Twitch and be like, why is this happening? Why are we giving Amazon tens of billions of dollars in government funding when this is allowed to happen on their site? So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, depending on who they ask, because sometimes when people like Candace Owens in the past have been asked to go to committees, like, they go because they know that they can farm clips off of it. Clancy just seems like the kind of guy who would definitely want to avoid any questions or any challenging interactions ever.
Well,
so
for a lot of this stuff, I think that there isn't a good answer, and that's partially because, like, for a lot of the more nefarious things, like the bigger, more egregious discrepancies that have happened on enforcement in the past on Twitch, it hasn't just been like, oh, well, people reported him on the site, nothing happened. Clancy basically can't feign ignorance on the bigger controversies of the site because people have emailed him directly with full context, and he's responded to it. So we can't, like, for instance, if I was to be like, Mr. Clancy, can you explain to me why on this date you banned Tectone for 2 weeks for calling this person, or sorry, you banned Miskiff for saying that you were glad that this person was dead, but then they were joking, but are they joking? And then they're not. But then a mere whatever months before, year before, whenever, I don't remember when the Queen died, but why is it on this date that Hassan Piker was able to say, let's go, the Queen's dead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck, this is awesome. And you gave no context. And we also here have a copy of the email in your inbox that you have received this report, yeah, what's your reasoning for this? Like, that's like an impossible question to answer. You can't say, I don't recall. Like, here's the email of you getting this report. And then the terms of service are right there that if you do this, you get indefinitely banned. Like, it's just, I think it's just impossible questions to answer for a lot of these things. So I don't think he shows up. Like, that's not even like a good example of like stuff as far as like crazy shit that's gone on Twitch. But like, a lot of this stuff is impossible to answer for him because he does have knowledge, and you have proof that he has knowledge, actual knowledge. Because the default response for a CEO is, I'm not sure, Your Honor, not Your Honor or whatever, Congressman, but I will investigate that and have answers for you shortly. Like, you can't say that because you can pull up the email at the same time and be like, hey, you already knew, so why'd you do that? They have to answer.
Is that for a committee hearing? I don't think. Is it true? But why is someone in chat saying that he could get arrested if he doesn't show up? That's not true, is it? For a committee hearing?
If you're subpoenaed and you don't show up,
yeah, but he's not subpoenaed.
They're requested to be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we can just make predictions. I don't think anything good's coming from this, but fuck, who knows?
I hope that something positive can happen from it, but the truth is, regardless of what happens, honestly, do you know who to blame for if something bad happens?
What?
Twitch.
I mean, maybe partially, but it seems like they're targeting. Again, they're targeting fucking Steam. So I don't.
Yeah, but
I don't know what
don't
they've
think
done wrong.
shit's not gonna happen to Steam. But I mean, at the end of the day,
You don't know
like, if
that. You
something,
don't know if they find something in people's Steam, because in Steam people can message each other. You don't know if they found stuff that Steam would have ignored or whatever, or even just like any excuse to clamp down on them or to overextend their like authority over these companies. So
they would have, like, the problem is that, like, if you think that Elon has such an influence in the in this administration, which I don't know if he still does anymore or doesn't, but certainly, like, the tech bros are powerful. Like, Meta is powerful, Bezos is powerful, Elon is powerful, and all of them are rich off of media and social media, and all of them would not survive without Section 230 protections. So it's very difficult to modify 230 in a way that would punish one site and not the other, that would not be just struck down immediately. Like, you can't make a Section 230 law that's like, we're rewriting 230 so that these sites have it and nobody else does. Like, that wouldn't fly, right? It would be unconstitutional, and it would just like, every district court wouldn't enforce it. Like, it would.
Okay. I mean, so well, the hearing's what? And it's 8th of October, right?
Yep, the day after October 7th.
2 weeks from 2 weeks. The Trump unit.
Yep.
You're gonna watch it live.
I probably will live stream it, I think.
Well,
I think it's going to be fucking crazy, but it's going to be a long hearing. I mean, how many members are there on it? And each member gets 5 minutes, and then I think the CEOs get 3 minutes to respond as well to each time. That it's just going to be crazy.
is it going to be over multiple days or just on the one day?
I think it's just on the 8th.
Okay, that's exciting. Well, I'll watch the whole thing. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, well,
I'll be entertained by it, whatever else. If anything, even if nothing good comes from it, or if lots of bad things come from it. But that's my I don't know, that's my prediction. Either nothing good comes from it, or lots of bad things come from it. Who knows?
But the important part here is to understand that, like, don't blame me. Don't blame Hassan. Don't blame Destiny. Don't blame Fuentes. Don't blame Candace Owens. The person to blame for these things happening, for this committee happening, are the tech companies themselves, especially Twitch. Okay, if you want to be upset at someone, be upset at Twitch specifically for continually not enforcing their terms and making it so comical that people have gotten to this point.
Should I blame Discord and Steam and Reddit as well?
You should probably blame Reddit. Yes, I would say. I think Reddit also has their own issues that are pretty extreme. And yeah, I think, like, I would blame Reddit. Discord and Steam, I think, are stupid to have on that completely. Like,
so you want to blame
silly.
Twitch for so it's Twitch's actions that did this, but half of the people, half of the companies challenged by this committee didn't really seem to do anything that would warrant this investigation or this hearing.
Yeah, that's true. It's all reactionary.
I blame Republicans. That's what I blame.
Well, you blame them for why the committee is happening. Of course, you blame the Republicans of why the thing's happening in the first place. But if you want to blame why there's so much anger at these companies, you look at Twitch directly. Yeah, the whole reason that the committee is happening is because Republicans are like, okay, we can use this. This is good. Who do we hate the most? And the answer is, right now, whoever was even had their names somewhat mentioned across the Kirk shooting event. Absolutely. I think that's fair to say, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do a little bit of a history thing?
Sure.
You were asking earlier about lesser evils and all that shit.
Okay.
This is why it's kind of pointless. Okay. These are the results of the 1925 German federal election. You see the two groups there. So the three candidates. So the first one, Hindenburg, he was the guy who ended up making Hitler the chancellor in 1933, like right-wing field marshal monarchist. Wilhelm Marx was heading a coalition of social democrat, left, center left, and liberal parties. and the guy on the right is Communist Party, Soviet backed. See the vote numbers. This is the second
I do.
round. This is the second round.
Yeah.
I think the politically, like the KPD are quite different from left wing parties today, but they still operate on a very similar like principle in this sense. Like they still approach these kinds of issues in a similar way. Like they would happily watch something like this happen to make their voices heard, to let people know that they exist. So
Yep.
no debate question is going to turn that around for most of them.
So you're saying there was almost a chance.
I think for domestic politics, Americans, people get kind of like whiplash, I guess, when I say this, but it's just true. Whenever I talk about U.S. domestic politics, I don't really bring up lefties all that much. Like they're not that interesting to me because they're like what I see them as is people who are trying to attach themselves to the ship, but only as a deadweight.
Yes.
So
the barnacle.
Yeah, the barnacles.
The anchor.
Yeah. And I think the best thing to do is to just kind of like just fuck them off. Or when it comes to this whole like kowtowing that people who are like liberal and center try to do to far left people, I think it should be the other way around. Like I'd rather be purity testing them on fucking the like shitting on the party for 4 years, but then thinking you can just come in on the last day and say, oh, you should probably still vote for them to keep the fascists out. Like, yeah, I think people who are liberal and center left should be purity testing the far left. The far left should be the ones pandering to us, not us to them. Like that's the message I tend to put with them, and yeah, which is almost tantamount to mostly ignoring them and going after Republicans. Like that's my U.S. politics, like domestic position. Just because I shit on them a lot for IP and other stuff doesn't mean that I take them all that seriously on a domestic stage in America. Seems like the polling showed that as well. I don't know if you saw yesterday. People were trying to say that. So in Kamala's book, there's a quote that might be either taken out of context or it might have actually been fabricated, where they're saying that this survey, this post-election survey, it claimed that voters who voted Biden in 2020, but for someone else other than Democrats in 2024, listed their reasons for why they changed their vote. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think the top answer was?
Let me think. Why had they changed their vote? DEI.
People who voted Biden in 2020 but not Democrat 24 changed because of DEI.
That was my guess of what it would be. Like I can't possibly think about how they were meaningfully super different candidates. I hate women, I guess.
No. It was because of the ending Israel's violence in Gaza, 29%. That was the most important in deciding their vote for a different candidate. So these are the ones who went away from Democrats, but they still turned out. This doesn't include people who didn't turn out at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, 24% economy. Then way below that, you've got like Medicare, immigration.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying what percent of candidates. Maybe I misheard this.
No,
switched
voters.
From Democrat to Republican.
Voters who switched from Democrat to someone else in 2020, 2024. So they voted Biden in 2020, and then they voted for someone other than Democrats in 2024.
Okay, so it's not even a good reason. At least my reasons were like made sense. Like, oh, you hate women. Okay, well then, yeah, I guess it makes sense that you would switch your vote. Or, you're stupid. So DEI, and that's a big popular thing now. So yeah, you're switching your vote. Fine. Like, but this is just the Hassan stuff. Then, got it.
Yeah, but the problem is that people are saying this. People are using this one stat to suggest that this is why the Democrats should have pushed harder in ending the violence in Gaza, even assuming they could have done that. Like stopping a war in a different country is quite hard. Trump's learning that the hard way. But also, it ignores...
I have heard Hassan has said that a few times, like, we'll end the war in one day, or Biden could have ended the war in one day.
With the one phone call, I know, it's fucking retarded. This has never happened before. Yeah,
like it is possible to end the war in one day, but it's like you tell them if you don't stop, we're going to nuke you, but you can't do that.
Yeah, and that would probably be taken as a fucking false threat. Yeah, because Putin threatens to nuke all the time. But the problem is that this is only counting people who turned out, whereas turnout was a problem as well compared to because Biden got like, I think there was 65% turnout in 2020 and then 55, 56. And so there's a turnout gap as well. So when polls asked people who voted for anyone other than Harris or didn't vote at all, so when they include people who didn't vote at all, most of them said that breaking with Biden's policy on Gaza would have made no difference.
Interesting.
Yeah. And also the fact that number 2 was people saying economy, and that's why they voted for someone else. Is like, really? So people on but economy tended to be the reason people voted for Trump. So it seems as well that there were quite a few people in 2020 who voted Biden, but then they went to MAGA because of the economy. Like,
I wonder what % of people that were voting for Biden the previous election were like, I'm doing so because I'm tired of every day in the news cycle being the last day on Earth. It's just so exhausting. Like, that whole living with Trump is just exhausting. Every day, it's like the world is collapsing. I don't know how we survive it, honestly.
Oh yeah, sorry, 2 more polls. There was also this one. This included anyone who didn't vote Harris and also people who abstained. When they include people who abstained, it said, the majority of them actually, well, the highest number was 36% for inflation, 37% for healthcare, 34% for immigration, and then the war in Gaza was 34% as well. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say. And then also the other issue is that overall voter priorities.
So what does this turn into as far as numbers then?
Well, that's the hard thing to tell, is that there is a substantial number of people who went away from Harris, who voted Democrat 2020, but not for Harris afterwards, and a very large, like a substantial number of them, it was over Gaza. So we don't know. We actually don't know.
Yeah, that's the crate. Like, well, I guess when people were shitting on me saying like, you think that people like Hassan had any impact? I mean, the answer kind of seems like yes. Like when you say this is the only issue that matters, even though
it's a maybe, because the numbers are, it's like 29% versus in some places to 34 versus less than that, and 37, 38 for other issues. So bringing that down to numbers is quite difficult, I think. In general, though, for top issues for the youth and for overall voters, Gaza was like 3% foreign policy. In terms of that it being their most important issue. So most voters still put foreign policy as like number 9 on their list of priorities.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, really the stuff that matters is like adults and old people, like more than anything else. I'm curious about what they say, because I mean, the truth has always been that young people for the most part don't vote. So that's the only reason I'm possibly willing to give it to the fact that, like, you know, young people themselves, they don't vote, but they do try to influence other people as well, which can have a network effect, which is a little bit dangerous. So,
where the fuck is my fuck? I had is my fucking, oh, there are so many of these drop downs. I should have listed the title for this one. But yeah, it was still for most voters. Actually, youth and adults weren't even that different. It seemed that for most voters and for most youth, the top, like prioritization was still the same. It was like economy 39% for youth and 40% for all voters, 20% for immigration, 11% for abortion, healthcare. I think immigration was the one place where the youth and the old voters were notably different. Older people took immigration a lot more seriously. So
old people hate immigrants then, I'm guessing?
Older people do, yeah. More so than young.
Do you think that there could have been one thing that Kamala could have changed to have possibly won the election?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think so. If it,
I can think of one thing. You want to know what it would be? It's just so stupid and blackpilling. If Kamala turned herself magically into a 45-year-old white man, I think she would have won.
Maybe, yeah. That might.
I think that's all it would have. I think that's all it would have taken.
Yeah, I mean, especially because of, I think, young. Yeah, because that's why she lost so many votes from, I think it was like younger men. So who knows?
Yeah. I think it would have been enough to win for sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I guess it's hard to say.
Have you seen in her book where she's talking about her reasons for not going with Buttigieg or with Josh Shapiro? She's interviewed about it as well.
No.
So Buttigieg being gay played a part in her not going with him because she was already like the minority, the women of color. And for Josh Shapiro, it was actually because of him. Well, partly it was him being Jewish and his connection to Israel.
Interesting.
Yeah, like throughout, I have to read her book, like most of these parts, but she talks about Gaza quite a lot. She talks about like the protesters quite a lot and like the struggle of how to message on Israel Palestine in a way that was convincing to people who still sympathize with Israel versus people who have gone massively against them. Yeah, it's like it was massively like in her head at the time. Like it did affect quite a lot, I think.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you get back to your normally scheduled broadcasting. It was good chatting with you, and I guess we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. It'll be exciting.
2 weeks. Good luck. I might see you.
All right.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah. Later.
Okay.